Well, Eskom's outgoing CEO, André de Ruyter, says over 9,000 megawatts worth of power projects are in the pipeline to help decrease the future implementation of rolling blackouts. Eskom is currently implementing stages 3 and 4 power cuts. The power utility intends on adding over 1,800 megawatts of power to the grid by the end of March, which is the equivalent of 2 stages of rolling blackouts. De Ruyter appeared before Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts alongside Eskom's board and senior management. Right now, let's discuss this. We're now joined via Zoom by energy expert Hilton Trollip. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, SCOPA was pressing the power utility this afternoon, to produce firm timelines in terms of when load shedding will end. Indications, judging by the Q&A session afterwards, is that load shedding will end by March, in 2 years' time, in essentially 2025. If there's no real implementable plans, it's hard to believe how practical it is then to firm up these timelines. What are your thoughts?
Good afternoon, Anati. Eskom on Sunday they had a press briefing, actually a national briefing, which anybody could attend, and I watched the whole thing. It was about 2.5 hours long, and it's very interesting when you try to tell people something that they don't like. Often they don't hear what you're saying. And I have heard Eskom for years now say some things very, very clearly. And I'm completely, I was listening to that SCOPA, one of our MPs questioning, making a statement about the need for this timeline. What Eskom have said is there's certain things they can do that are under their control. And that is, according to the law, what they can do. And that is largely they can fix the equipment they've got. But what they also, and this is all these big coal-fired power stations that are either very old or the new ones, they've never got them to work properly because there have been serious problems from the beginning with contracting, corruption, poor design, etc., which I watch this space very closely. So I hear Eskom say, one, with what is under our control, the state of these power stations is unreliable and unpredictable. We can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. What's likely is over the next 2 years, on average, there'll be about stage 2 to stage 3 load shedding, but we can't say that for sure. It could get much worse. So that's the one thing. We have to, when we hear them say that, we've got to accept that. Firstly, it's unpredictable and it's unreliable. And it's likely now for 2 years at least, they said, that's best case, to be an average of 2 to 3 load shedding. The other thing that the CEO said, the Chief Operating Officer said, and the new acting generation manager said, all of them took pains to say there are certain things they can't control. And if these things aren't done, load shedding will not end in 2 years, it's most unlikely. And the thing that they all said, and they've been saying, the CEO actually said, I've been saying this for 3 years, and that is new generation needs to be connected to the grid, and a lot of it. And this is what I do. It's my professional expertise. We model these systems, and a lot more generation has to be connected to the grid than is currently in any official plans. The National Committee under the President, their latest plan, they say that in years 2024 and 2025, there's going to be a whole lot, but that's that generation capacity. It is the responsibility of the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy to connect that. Unfortunately, politicians can't say what people don't want to hear, so we've had the Minerals and Energy Minister telling us this can be fixed. Firstly, he said in 6 months, now it's 12 months, and also he says it can be fixed just by Eskom fixing its coal-fired power station.
Mr. Trollip, let me squeeze in, Mr. Trollip, this one question. So if they do not get what they want within their control, I mean, we know that one of the things that they want is, of course, that tariff increase from NERSA, but the president is now asking, NERSA to suspend it. I mean, what are the chances of that happening, with them not getting even the little bit that they wanted from NERSA?
So that won't affect load shedding. If they don't get their tariff increase, then government will just have to bail them out. So we will either pay for that through taxes or through the tariff or through increased debt. That won't affect load shedding.
Okay.
But what will affect load shedding, and this thing which is very important for people to hear, it's outside Eskom's control. It's the connection of about 10 gigawatts extra of generating capacity to the system. And Scopa can put Eskom in front of them until the end of time. They need the energy minister there with his staff explaining their role, because Eskom have made it very clear. That also has to be done, and it's outside of Eskom's control.
All right, Mr. Trollip, thank you so much for your analysis and your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it. Energy expert there, Hilton Trollip, for us.